Hey guys, so today you're going to be drawing these two forms using pencil, using the blue pencils that we used for the gradient scales the other day. So this is an example sheet which I've included on Classroom, as well as a reference picture to the two forms that I'm going to be drawing from. So you can refer to both of these things as you try the exercise. So today I'm using a B pencil and a 6B. I'm not going to use all 6 of the pencils, I'm just going to use the 2 that I need. So I'm going to use the B to do the lines, and I'm going to use the 6B to do the shading. So I'm going to start with the rectangular prism on the left. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to start with a Y shape, like the letter Y, like that. And that's going to represent the front and then the top, 2 of the top lines. And then I'm going to finish this shape off by making parallel lines like that. Notice how these are parallel to each other, like that. Then these are parallel. And then the vertical sides are parallel. All right, so that's the basic line drawing for the rectangular prism. And the cylinder is a little bit different. For the cylinder, you want to do the top, which is an oval, like that. And it's easiest to make multiple motions like that. So go around a couple of times and practice. It's actually easier if you do it quicker than if you do it slower. So you're going to make an oval like that, and then make another oval at the bottom. Right, do the full oval like that. That's going to be the bottom of the cylinder. Then you just connect the sides like that. And then erase this part here. You don't need this anymore. All right, those are the basic lines. Take a sip of coffee. Now you're ready to start the shading. So for the shading, there's 4 main parts for both forms. You've got your highlights, and that's the lightest part. You've got your core shadow. Core shadow is the darkest part. Then you've got your midtones, which is not light or dark, it's somewhere in the middle. And then last, you have your cast shadow. And the cast shadow is the shadow that's made on the table surface. So I've set up the forms, and if you look at the reference photo, you'll see that the forms have the same shading as my example here. So it should match up pretty well. All right, I'm going to start with the prism. All right, the darker side of the form is over here. So I'm going to turn this 6B pencil on its side, and I'm going to fill this in. Notice I'm going in the direction that the side of the form takes. I'm moving my pencil from side to side like that. All right, mid-tone is going to be this side here. So I'm going to vary my pressure and go a little bit lighter. All right, so just like in your gradient scales where you're not going to bear down as hard to do the lighter tones and bear down harder to do the darker tones. All right, last is the cast shadow. And cast shadow I'm seeing here has a little bit more of a wrinkle to it than the example image I just showed you. It's like this, and then it goes like this. And it's going to depend on where you're sitting in the room. The shadows may look different than this for your own individual drawing. So you have to look at your shape and where it's sitting. And for me, right now, that's the shape of my cast shadow. Now I'm going to fill it in nice and evenly. Okay, cast shadows do not have borders. It's not a thing. It doesn't exist. It's just a shadow. So no hard edges. You want to make sure you fill this in nice and evenly. Just like that. All right, there's the cast shadow. All right, that's 3D form number 1. 3D form number 2 is the cylinder. This one's a little bit harder to shade. You have to find that core shadow and you have to shade it in kind of like this, go side to side. All right, and again, notice that the shading kind of follows the direction of the form. Just got up to get a blending stump. The blending stump can be used to make some nice smooth gradients as you attempt to do this kind of ombre effect, this gradient effect. It's really called a gradient, out towards the edges of the core shadow. And you can use the blending stump to make your entire midtone. The whole midtone can be made using the blending, just the blending stump. And then I want to smooth this out and go back to the 6B. I'm going to smooth this out a little bit. Okay. Last is the cast shadow on the table. So note the direction of the shadow. You're going to start the cast shadow right at the bottom of the core shadow, right where they meet, that's where it begins. And then you make it go out this way and make it follow the shape that you see on the table. All right, and again, shade it nice and evenly, going across, and don't leave any borders. The 6B pencil will do all the work for you, because it's nice and soft. All right, and we use the eraser to clean up some of my mistakes. Anywhere where it looks like you made a stray mark, or something's a little bit off. So I can round this a little bit better. Like that. All right, so there you go. Cylinders and rectangular prisms. So just like the example. Can't fit them both on the same camera.